Do you believe in magic? Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's only one place to go to see it for yourself.
Chicago is such an overwhelmingly important part of modern magic, and people have no idea.
Chicago magic had a huge heyday.
In fact, it is the birthplace of a particular form of magic.
Chicago-style magic was born out of Chicago bars and restaurants.
This intimate form of magic that's really about me and a couple of other people. Small props that you can put in your hand, magic that happens in your hands.
The Chicago magic bars came and they sort of went.
There was no longer really a venue to perform since the turn of the 21st century.
There has been a renaissance of magic, specifically in Chicago, but I think in the whole country.
We have revitalized the community of magicians by giving them a home.
So many magicians are full-time professional close-up magicians.
Chicago is a community that loves people and loves direct interaction and loves real honest-to-God connection, and that's what close-up magic gives us.
Chicago was breaking tourism numbers. They were seeing more tourists than they have ever before, and people who travel often had all named Chicago kind of like the place to be for 2020 as far as American cities. My friend was telling me that he knew this place that was a bar with magic. I was like, sold. Kind of tricky to get in. It looks like a laundromat from the outside. On the other side is a bar and seating where you could drink and watch the magician at the bar.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Chicago Magic Lounge. My name is the Amazing Bibic.
In terms of Chicago reclaiming its important role in the development of the art form of magic, we think the Chicago Magic Lounge makes an important contribution to that. But that form of magic had disappeared largely over the years.
I was performing in the Chicagoland area, and my agent sent me on an audition. My new boss, Danny Orleans, brought me to the New York Lounge. When I went into that bar, everyone was having so much fun, and the bar magicians were a part of every moment of that. They were serving drinks, they were doing magic, they knew everyone.
Magicians who may not have had very successful careers prior to the opening of this venue now have a place where they can perform almost nightly. I hired all of the acts that perform here. The quality of magic in Chicago has gone up exponentially.
We pride ourselves in having a large core of independent contractors who are local magicians who perform here regularly and are able to make a living. The Chicago Magic Lounge, as you probably have heard already, was the brainchild of several local magicians who would meet in the back room of the magic shop Magic Inc. over in Ravenswood area.
Obviously, we had to go straight to the source. The longest continuously running family-owned brick-and-mortar magic shop. That is insane. We're talking about a magical landmark.
Magic Inc. is in essence the spine of the community. My brother got a magic set when he was about 5 or 6 and I was 4, and I was his assistant. When I first came into Magic Inc., I didn't realize there were that many magic books published. There were hundreds here, illusions and close-up magic. Magic as a whole has been, more desirable, more sought after in the country. Full also Penn and Teller, Chris Angel specials, David Blaine specials. They're on all the late talk shows, Netflix series or specials that actually dedicated specifically to the magic of magicians. And then they started to get more people come into the shop, more people going to clubs. The Chicago Magic Scene has some incredible performers. There's some absolutely terrific people in town. So you have Dennis Watkins, who's an incredible performer with an absolutely astounding show. Third generation magician, the caliber of his magic, the way he's polished pieces over time is just brilliant.
My first experiences in magic were with my granddad, who was a professional magician and ran a magic shop. I do a 90-minute close-up magic and mind reading show 5 times a week on the 3rd floor of the Palmer House Hotel in downtown Chicago. We seat 44 folks at a time, and every single person in the room gets to play. I looked online last week. You could buy a ticket to 20 magic performances in Chicago. That is a remarkable thing. All of the magicians that I know in this city are more magical than they were 5 years ago because we have a community. Magic is growing up.
If you're not into sitting down and watching a whole show, you can still experience magic in Chicago. Logan Arcade, drinks, great music, arcade games, old, new, interactive, multiplayer, single player, bloody, not bloody, cute, 80s, 90s, beyond, like everything. They host Magical Tuesdays with Justin Purcell. He sets up a table on a little light that says magic, and people come up to him at this bar.
I have a little book called Spooky Tricks, and it had a little ghost that would explain how to do the magic tricks, like pulling off your finger and this kind of thing. I remember liking that book a lot and reading it over and over again and being fascinated by how devious these tricks were that you could show your friends.
You pulled it from my ear!
I remember I was doing magic here at Logan Arcade. I couldn't really find many other magicians that were performing at restaurants. So I think it's very important for any kind of performer to have something that they do constantly, where you're constantly out in front of the public. I think people in general, though, are looking for interactive entertainment that is taking place in real time and in real life, as opposed to something that happens on the internet or on a screen, because people have so much of that. There's a long way for magic to go. As long as there's not just this specific stereotype of what a magician is and what a magician does, I think that's what helps magic the most.
You got it! Very well done!
For the longest time, women were not part of magic culture. Even now, women represent 3 to 6%. The most generous estimate is 7% of the magic community. And part of it is obviously because any women perceived to have magical powers were witches and were burnt. When I was about 7, I remember watching magic on television with my dad. By the age of 16, I could juggle and eat fire. Only fairly recently have women been allowed to participate in the magic community. We were excluded. Our role was to be an assistant. That was the only place you could do magic. All of the clubs were gentlemen's clubs that didn't invite women. I tried really hard to focus on creating tricks that can be now part of the vocabulary of magic moving forward, so that women have more things that they can do that are uniquely theirs.
The community of magicians here benefit from you having a great time.
There is nothing like this really anywhere else in the world. This amazing opportunity to cultivate stuff, and you see it here with the magicians.
I had so much fun seeing so many different types of magic. It's new and fresh.
Now we're at a place where more and more people every day are discovering that it is an elevated art form.
From what I saw, magic is only going to get better.
I think maybe you got the magic touch.
And that's pretty exciting.